Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we'll be making this beautiful butterfly bow gown. If it's something you are interested, please keep watching and watch to the end. And if this is your first time of stopping by, please take 1 second to subscribe on the channel and turn on your notification bell to be notified each time I upload a new video. And without wasting so much time, let's get into the video. So for this tutorial, we'll be cutting our bodice first before we go to the lower side of it. And for my folding, we are going to be folding the fabric into two. I'm cutting the back and the front together. So whatever you are going to fold will be enough for your bust measurements, your allowance, and then your zipper allowance. And then I'll fold over again, and you can see I left about 1 inch for my zipper. And what I have there is enough for my bust measurement with my allowance. So the one on top is for our front and the one down is our back. So our bodice is going to, our measurement is going to be starting from the center front, which I just showed you guys. I hope you understand how to fold your fabric now. So the first thing I'm going to do is to mark a straight line to serve as our starting point or our starting line or our shoulder line. And then from there I'm going down by 6.5 inches for my bust point, and then I'm marking my half length at 12 inches plus 1 inch allowance. So this gown is for a 5 to 6 years old girl, and I am making use of 2 yards for this style. So the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and mark my half of my shoulder measurement. Remember our measurement is starting from the center front. Then I added half inch for my stitching allowance. I just connected the line to meet my bust point. Then at my bust line, I'm going to add 1/4 of my bust measurement. That's my bust measurement divided by 4. And I added my allowance. I added 1.5 inches allowance to it. And then for my shoulder slope, I'm going down by 0.5 for it, and I'll connect it all the way to my shoulder line. Then the next thing I did is to connect my armhole. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead for my neckline, and for the width of my neckline I marked at 2.5 inches, and then the depth I marked at 3 inches. That's 2.5 by 3 inches, and I want it to have a round neck, so I'm going to go ahead and connect this with my curve for a round neck. Once I am done with that, so this first neckline is for our front, and for our back neckline I'm going down by 1 inch, and I'll connect it to my front width neckline. Then I'm all going to go ahead and insert my waist measurement divided by 4. I'll make a point there, and then add 1.5 inches for my stitching allowance. And that's basically all for the bodice. I'll go ahead and cut this. If you haven't subscribed up to this moment, please take 1 minute to hit on the subscribe button. To my old subscribers, I say thank you very much for all your support. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and share my videos to family and friends. So I just separated the back from the front, and then I'll go ahead and cut the front neckline. So this is it after we are done. This is the back, and then this is the front. The next thing I did is to cut out the lining pieces for this, and as you know, most times in this channel I use the same fabric for my lining piece. If you don't have enough fabric, please make use of your normal lining to cut out all your lining pieces. So the next thing I'm going to do is to arrange this fabric front facing front, and I will go ahead to start pinning this down. Once I am done pinning it down, I'll also pinning the neckline. I also pin the armhole down. It's not going to be having a sleeve. I will go ahead and stitch this down, and also on the armhole. We are just doing the regular turning and stitching. If you want a professional one, check out my video on ball gown. I'll put it in the description box so that you check it out. It has a more professional way of doing this. So this is it after I was done. I'm going to take out all the pins from it. Then I'm going to go ahead and make notches around the neckline and also on the armhole. And once I am done doing this, I'm going to go ahead and turn this inside out. If you have electricity at this moment, please go ahead and iron your fabric or your pieces. So the next thing you are going to do is to work on the shoulder, and for this you can see I put my hand from my back body, that's from the inside, from under my lining. I don't know how to explain this, but look at the video, you understand. So once I put my hand there, from there I'm going to pull out the front one in to be inside the back one. Then I will arrange it well, making sure that the two edges of the armhole and the neckline is matching, and then I will stitch it down. So I'll make sure I arrange it well, pin them down before going to my sewing machine to stitch it down. And I'll do the same thing for the other side. You can see how I pulled it out. I'm going to pin it down as well, and before stitching it down. So this is it after I was done stitching it down. Yes, baby. The next thing I'm going to do is to cut out all the edges, just to reduce the bulge there. And once I am done, I'm going to turn it to the right side. Just pull it out, it's going to come out by itself. And I'll do the same thing for the other shoulder. Then the next thing we are going to do is to work on the seam side. And for this I'm going to arrange my fabric front facing front. Once I am done with this, I'm going to pin it down and then stitch it by the allowance that we added, with 1.5 inches that we added. So let's work on the butterfly. The first thing I'm going to do is to cut out fabrics for it. And for the length of the fabric, I'm using 7.5 inches for this. So the length is about 99 inches, so I'm going to go ahead and reduce this to be 7.5 inches by 7.5 inches. Then I'm going to go ahead and cut out another piece for still for the making of the butterfly. So I'm just going to fold my fabric and then fold again. It's more like we're trying to cut out a flake, or let's say a circle. So once I am done folding it, I'll pin it down to hold it in place. Then I'll start taking my measurements. And for the measurement of this, I am using 4.5 inches. So I'm going to mark for 4.5 inches all around, just like you do when you want to cut out your circle or your flake. So once I am done marking this, I'm going to cut this out. So this is it, and I also went ahead to cut another piece to make it to be two. I just wanted it to be as firm as possible. It's more like one is for the lining. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch this down all around. As you can see, I am not doing front facing front. This is back facing back at this moment. So I'm going to go ahead, just run stitch around it. So once I am done, I'm going to use my bias to turn the rough edges. So what I'm going to do is to pin this down, and then I'm going to stitch it all the way around the square. Once I am done, I'll turn it to the other side and then stitch it down, and I'll repeat the same process for the circle. I'm going to put it and stitch it all the way around the circle. Once I am done, I made small notches around the circle and then turn it to the other side and then stitch it down. And then for the lower side of the gown, what I am going to do is to place my tape at the 12 inches for half length, cut out my length, and then I added 4 inches for allow for our stitching allowance. Then next thing I'm going to do is to fold in by about ½ inch and then fold in about 3 inches. Remember, we added 4 inches for allowance, so that's the reason for adding that much. Then this is our pieces. I've gone ahead to iron it. During the process of ironing, the second one got burnt, so and I ironed it in this I folded into 2 and iron it just to create a line for me to stitch down. So once I am done from that line that I created, I'm going to use my my hand needle to start making stitches there. This stitching is going to be very wide. You don't need to use small stitch so that you can pull the thread once you are done. So once I am done with the circle, I also do the same thing for the square, but you can see how I did it for the square. It's not facing the normal square area. Just look at the video, you understand. So once I am done with that, I'm going to go ahead and pull the thread that we used to stitch it down. So once you pull that thread, you go ahead and arrange your butterfly very well, and then use the thread to tie it down very well. And then I'll go ahead to secure the thread and make a knot. So this is it. After we are done, I went ahead to cut out pieces for us to cover that thread that we made. So for the length of this, I have about 5 inches, and then for the width I have about 4 inches. I folded it into 2 and then make a stitch at the one side of it. I'm going to go ahead. I'm sorry for all the noises you guys have been hearing. So the next thing I'm going to do is to turn this inside out. And once I turn this inside out, I'm going to go ahead and bring the butterfly, use it to cover it and stitch it at the back of it. And this is it. After I was done stitching it down, all I have to do is to turn this to the other side so that it will close the stitch area. And this is it. Our butterfly is ready. The next thing we're going to do is to attach the lower part of the gown to the bodice. And for this, I'm going to go ahead. Okay, I'm just showing you guys that I've gone ahead to hem this. And for this, for the bodice, I'm going to go ahead and fold the lower part of it. Okay, for this lower part, what the inches, I have 2 yards there. That's 36 inches into 2. That's 2 yards for the length. That's what I used. So I'm going to go ahead and make a notch at the center of it, and then make a notch at my bodice as well. Once I am done with this, I'm going to match the 2 centers together and then pin it down. Once I am done pinning this down, we are going to go ahead and start creating our plate. And for the one side of the plate, I'm going to fold in about 1.5 inches towards the center area that we pinned down. And then from the other side, I'm going to fold again about 1.5 inches to meet the other side. So I'm folding from the left and from the right, and the plates are supposed to meet each other at the center. It's not supposed to overlap. So once I am done with this, I'll go ahead and pin this down. And then we are going to continue to work on one side of it. Once you are done with one side, you are going to do it for the other side. Then I'll give a space of about 1 inch from the, when you look at under it, you'll see about 1 inch. Then I'll make another plate just like we did for the front one. I'll fold in about 1.5 inches from the right side, and then fold another one from the left side to meet the other one. So this one I am creating now is by the side, or will be by the side. The first one you created will be at the center of the gown. This one is going to be at the side, and then the next one we are going to do now will be at the back side I hope you understand this. I'm just trying to explain this as much as I can. So before I create the last one, I'm going to go ahead and pin my zipper allowance, and where I'm pinning is where my zipper allowance is supposed to start, so I don't go ahead and I don't make place on it. Once I pin that down, I'm going to create the last plate for this side of it, just like we did for the other one. You're going to make it to meet each other at the center and then pin it down. It's better to do all this before going to stitch it down, so that if there is any mistake, you could just take out your pins and recreate your place. So once I am done with this one, I am going to go ahead and do the same thing that I did for this left side on the right side, and then before going to my sewing machine to stitch it all the way. So this is it after I was done stitching it down. I'm just taking out all the pins that I used to help to hold this down. Once I am done, I'm going to turn it to the right side, and this is how it looks. I don't know if you guys can see, the fabric is with so much pattern, so it's not so visible in this video. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to close up my zipper allowance and then attach my zip. So this is it after I was done attaching my zip. The gown is we are almost done with it. Then the next thing I'm going to do is for us to attach our butterfly to this gown. And for this butterfly, I'm going to go and try as much as I can to centralize it, arrange your gown very well, and make sure it's at the center of the gown. Then once I am done, I'm going to be using my hand needle to attach this, and I'm attaching it on the piece that we used to cover that stitching we made on the butterfly. I hope you understand this. We're trying to hide the thread as much as we can. So once I am done with that, our gown is ready to be used, to be worn by, I think I'm going to give this to my daughter. I hope you enjoyed this video just like I enjoy making it. Please give me a thumbs up if you do, and if you haven't joined this growing family, please do well to hit on the subscribe button and share my videos to family and friends, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.